Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel Glopin. Those who know me or have watched my very first video would already know that I lived in Europe for almost 9 years, mostly in Munich, before I moved back to Shanghai at the end of 2021. Many friends often ask me how is life in Shanghai compared to Munich or other major cities in developed countries. In this video, I would like to share my personal experience and view after living in Shanghai for almost 2 years. I will analyze the 5 advantages of living in Shanghai and in comparison, the 5 advantages of living in Munich or other similar cities. The points I will make here are rather general and not only applicable for myself. I hope this video can help others that have the same questions, whether you are Chinese who are considering moving back to China or foreigners wondering whether you should move to live and work in China. Before comparing Shanghai and Munich, I think both cities are amazing, have some similarities like they are both developed cities with great infrastructure, but high housing prices and high income requirements for a comfortable living. However, in my opinion, there are significant differences between Shanghai and major cities in the West. So let's start with the benefits of living in Shanghai. First of all is safety. One of the significant advantages of Shanghai and many parts of China is the high level of safety. Walking on the streets late at night in Shanghai, you have no fear of theft or robbery. In contrast, many large cities in the West have areas where safety can be a concern, especially at night, no matter it's Paris, London, Berlin, or New York. For example, when I visited Chicago, my friend advised me to avoid certain areas in the city, so we quickly took some pictures at the United Center and left right away. Second is the food variety. Megacities like Shanghai offers an unparalleled diversity in food. It's not about which food tastes better, because personal preferences play a significant role here. We all prefer our own cuisine, right? But in cities like Shanghai, one can find a vast array of cuisines, from various Chinese regional dishes like Cantonese or Sichuan cuisine to international dishes like Japanese, German, or Italian. Additionally, the price range is vast. With a budget of only $3–4, you can find tasty meals in Shanghai or order food delivery online. But if you're willing to spend a few $100s, you can have a luxurious meal or go to a Michelin-rated restaurant. Such diverse food offerings at different price points are hard to find in other Western megacities, where a meal often starts from $10 or even $20 in a restaurant. The third advantage in China, in my opinion, is its speed. This speed is evident in many aspects, from the speed of high-speed train, the pace of work amongst colleagues, to the delivery speed of express parcels. It's a reflection of how rapid China's development has been, a pace that many foreign countries can't match, especially in major Chinese cities. You'll notice that the entire neighborhood can change significantly in just 3–5 years. In contrast, if you live in a city like Paris, a neighborhood might remain largely unchanged for decades. Even some restaurants or bars may still stay in the same place without changing for 20–30 years. This rapid pace also extends to the workplace. Responses between colleagues in China is instant through applications instead of a few days through emails. Businesses can grow rapidly and promotions in career paths can happen every 2–3 years. Agile is in the DNA of most Chinese companies these days. But of course, faster isn't always better in every context. There has to be a great balance. The fourth advantage is the quality of service in China. Many foreigners might not realize how high the service standards are in China. This high standard is not only evident in speed, but also in quality. For instance, I recently booked a business trip back from Qingdao. I booked a flight ticket on Ctrip and opted for airport pickup service at midnight, which was $20 for 50 kilometers. Not only was it cost effective, but the quality of the service was outstanding. Before the flight, they sent me multiple notifications via text or app informing me the details of the flights and what I should consider. Once I landed, the driver called me immediately, and the app guided me to the pickup point through pictures and text descriptions. This high service standard is often better than what I've experienced before. Another example was on the same day coming back from Qingdao. I received a text message from the government informing me because of flight delays at Hongqiao Airport, the metro operating hours from that station had been extended accordingly. It's these small details that make living in China so convenient. Lastly, the fifth point is digitalization. After living in China for a year or two, you'll realize that every aspect of life is becoming digitalized. Whether it's booking flights, shopping, or managing insurance, everything can be done through an app or phone calls. Almost all payments are digital through Alipay or WeChat Pay. While digitalization exists in foreign countries, China's level of integration is unmatched. In first, second, or even third-tier cities in China, it's rare to use cash. This is in stark contrast to countries like Germany or France, where cash were still popular pre-COVID. This digital transformation is partly because Chinese consumers aren't as concerned about data privacy as those in foreign countries, but also because the fees charged by WeChat or Alipay are much lower than in the West. People are eager to embrace efficiency, and that is so crucial in Chinese megacities like Shanghai. So we've talked a lot about the convenience and benefits of living in Shanghai. However, nothing is perfect, whether it's a city or country. Perfection never exists. So let's discuss the advantages of living in cities like Munich or other major cities in the West. First of all is work-life balance. This is perhaps the most important aspect for both Chinese and foreigners. Many cities in China, despite their rapid development, struggle with achieving this balance. The cost of living in Shanghai or other megacities in China is pretty high. So if you prioritize work, family time, like being with your children, becomes limited. A common phenomenon in certain sectors, like the tech and financial services industries, working from 9 to 9, 6 days a week can be normal. Also, paid holidays in China are typically less than 15 days, unlike in Europe, where one might get 25 to 30 days, and not even including the overhours. Furthermore, in most European companies, working overtime is pretty rare. Second is the proximity to nature. One advantage of cities like Munich is that they have a less dense population compared to megacities in China. This means you can drive for an hour or two and find yourself in the middle of breathtaking natural scenery. For instance, in Munich, an hour's drive can take you to the Alps, where you can ski, hike, etc. In other cities, you might reach a breathtaking forest. If you are near Milan, there are beautiful lakes like Como. The range of destinations you can reach within 1 to 2 hours by car is remarkable, especially in Europe. In China's megacities, however, an hour drive might still land you in the concrete jungle. In Shanghai, for instance, the tallest mountain around is Sheshan, which is only 99 meters. Even though Shanghai is a port city, it lacks extensive beaches and coastal views. China's first-tier cities often offer many tourist attractions, but few natural sceneries, partly because they are surrounded by satellite cities. My third point is the international experience. Living outside of China generally offers a more international experience. Even in China's most international city, Shanghai, the number of foreigners is still limited compared to cities like Munich. In Munich, despite Germany not being traditionally an immigrant country, you will still encounter many foreigners, both in the professional and academic environments. Interactions with foreigners are frequent. In Munich, you can meet many people from Italy, Turkey, Russia, India, etc. This easy access to cross-cultural interactions fosters creativity and broadens perspectives. One concern post-pandemic is the reduced number of foreign visitors in China. We hope our recent tourism project, Globe and Travel, can help change this situation. Check out the link in the description. The next point is the options in education. Unlike China, where the National College Entrance Examination is seen as the primary path for students, abroad there seems to be a more diverse approach to children's education and development. The philosophy abroad emphasizes personalized education based on the individual needs and characteristics of each child. There is much less pressure and more options where you can apply to universities at home or abroad. In China, however, due to the college entrance examination, which we have talked about in the past, almost every student inevitably goes through this singular path. All students have to focus on subjects like English, maths, and Chinese, plus the 6 minor subjects: geography, physics, biology, chemistry, history, and politics. I believe that with the vast educational resources available in major cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, children should have more diverse educational choices rather than being subject to immense pressure. But there also needs to be a mindset change to focus more on collaboration instead of competition in the education system. Last but not least, many who have lived abroad and then returned to China often feel that interpersonal relationships in the West are much simpler. This complexity in China isn't limited to family and work relationships, but in every aspect of life. Some people in the West call it guanxi. For instance, in China, when you attend a wedding, you need to consider carefully how much money you put into the red pocket. When you buy something, you might be worried that the seller will charge you double or even triple the amount they will charge others. In comparison, when I was living in Munich, when I need a car maintenance, for example, I just go to my usual car dealership without worrying about being overcharged, and they will make sure everything is taken good care of. I don't need to check the price of milk in the supermarket because it's all the same or very similar. This reflects a lower trust cost between individuals in the Western societies. A tangible example can be seen when buying second-hand concert tickets. In China, you might have to negotiate with scalpers because they have all the tickets, spending unnecessary time and money, while abroad, buying tickets for an event is often straightforward. You buy it on the official website. Even if there are scalpers, there are much fewer. And the secondary ticket market abroad typically serves those who generally can't attend an event, as opposed to being a means of profiting from the sale. The nature of relationships in China might also be influenced by the vast population, and it is even more important in the business world. So that's it for our video today. Regardless of living in China or abroad, every city has its pros and cons. It often depends on what kind of life you desire. Some might prioritize professional growth or being closer to family, while others might prioritize work-life balance and personal hobbies. For many Chinese like myself, Chinese cuisine remains a significant attraction. At the end of the day, what's essential is understanding what you truly want and what your top priorities are. Once you identify them, decisions, whether it's returning to China or working there, become much more straightforward. If you have any comments, questions, or topics that you would like to discuss in our next video, feel free to comment in the section below. Here at Glopen, we inspire learning, exchange, and business. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next video.